So what's up guys, Foxen here, Attack on Titan chapter 116, almost there. Time for a quick prediction and hopes video for the next chapter. And by the way, this will be a shorter video since I'm traveling right now in Japan, supposedly on vacation. Also, if you do enjoy these type of videos, be sure to give a close thumbs up and subscribe. So let's go ahead and get started. Your guys' Patreon and Twitter questions will come later. So first off, let's bring up Levi and by extension Hange. So in the last chapter we find out that Levi is still alive. This guy's missing 2 fingers at least. Just notice that this guy's hand is most likely busted, he has that scarred up face, and potentially other body parts pierced by shrapnel. The question is, are there any other internal injuries? Normally you could bet your ass off. However, this is Attack on Titan where you got people flying around on wires without any consequences. Not to mention, Levi is this enhanced soldier. Think Captain America, but plus. Unfortunately, Levi should have this other limitation, which is just how many bodily fluids are inside of his body. I'm talking about the red stuff. So how long has it been since a blast blew away Levi away, and then got found by Hange and Flock's group? Talk about Hange, where is she about to go? Near the end of the last chapter, Hange just grabbed Levi and bolted into the river. Keep in mind that Hange right now has no transportation, no supplies, very limited time. And also there should be a limit to how far she could carry Levi's body by herself, since she is solo. Not to mention the fact that Levi is heavily injured. Assuming the above wouldn't be any problem at all, Hange should have been able to build some type of replacement vibranium claw or sword arm for Levi. However, because of all those other issues, that's not currently an option. So right now, Hange is going to have to go to some type of town, maybe where Historia is located at, since she knows where she's at. However, just given Levi's condition, that means both of these two will be out of the story for a good chunk. Let's say a week, 2 weeks at the very minimum, which is why I'm wondering whether there's going to be a potential time skip. In other words, going a week or a month into the future. Next up, let's talk about the warriors. First off, Pieck. So last time, Pieck freaking ambushed Eren, and she didn't immediately shoot him in the head. So that's the main question, why didn't Pieck shoot Eren's brains out? I picture there's going to be either a short or long conversation coming next chapter, and for this gives us various options here. Pieck either eats Eren and gains 4 titans, which is honestly the least possible scenario. Option 2, Eren eats Pieck and has 1 more titan to his titan collection. Next option, Eren injures Pieck but doesn't eat her, or vice versa. Pieck somehow damages Eren, but God knows why she will let him live. Next option, Pieck possibly turns to Eren's side, or at least pretends to. And then the final option, of course there could be some combination of all of the above, which results in Pieck managing to escape and then regroups with the other warriors. I got a feeling that something like this is going to happen after some short conversation. I do expect this will give us some insight into what Eren has been planning all this time. Not to mention give Gabby even more information about the whole situation. Who knows, Pieck may even take Gabby. And then talking about the warriors, where is Reiner and the Jaws Titan? Previously you saw Pieck within the walls, either within Wall Sina or Wall Rose, meaning that if she's back here in Eren's hometown, Pieck should have easily met up with Reiner and Mr. Jaws along the way. In other words, Reiner and the Jaws Titan should be very close by. Although, if this isn't the case, the warriors should be up to something else far away. And I know, at this point some of you will be screaming and hoping that they're on some rescue mission to help out Annie. Although this, I highly doubt it. Assuming the warriors found out Annie's location, I'm not sure why they bothered taking the risk to get this +1 titan on their side that's been frozen for 4 years. Most likely the female titan would be battle ready, and potentially even just go rogue on her own. And also, just really quick about Annie since she's technically a warrior. TikTok Isayama. If Attack on Titan is ending around chapter 130, each chapter that goes by really just decreases her significance. Next up, let's talk about Rogue Eren. What is this guy's next move? But of course, that should be setting up the Colossal Titan rumbling, or at least the demonstration. Please get that going. What I'm hoping happens next chapter is that we see some Marley advancing forces or some other war power approaching. That'll definitely cause the Yeager brothers to speed up their schedule. In the last chapter, before Pieck rudely interrupted, Eren was having that conversation with Gabby. This right here was definitely showing some hints of Eren's true motives. Unfortunately, she interrupted. So are you gonna possibly get this flashback to Eren's true motives? I'm still waiting to get that Eren Kruger flashback. Come on, this guy has to return some. Next up, switching it up to the other Yeager brother, what is Zeke's next move? And before that, I'm still thinking that Zeke looked younger when he came out of the Titan. Was this only a cosmetic difference? Or did the 13-year timeline reset? I mean, just think back to the other Titan guys in their final year. They looked old, and even Zeke looked like that a few chapters ago. Now this guy looks like he's freaking ready to hit up the gym. The question now is, how will this influence Zeke now? now that he knows there's more to this Titan stuff than he previously realized? Is this potentially going to change Zeke's plan going forward at all? I think the biggest key to this will be revealed when the two Yeager brothers finally meet up, which hopefully begins next chapter somehow. And then the final topic I'll bring up is the Survivor in jail. Can we get some meaningful update to all of these guys? Armin, are you ready to smash Eren again, and this time go all out? Mikasa, how about you? Are you ready to go full Ackerman on Eren's Titan ass? Cause remember, you're officially humanity's strongest soldier now, even if you don't even know it. For the Stallion, come on dude, use your horse powers to accidentally trample Flock in the distance. Or how about using your horse stirrers to break the bars? And then for Coney, don't die dude. Or maybe you do want to join Potato Girl Sasha. Well, hello there, coming to you live from somewhere in Tokyo. A huge thank you to all Patreon supporters and welcome to new ones. Maybe I'll do a video to announce this later, but I am now doing this YouTube thing full time. So please consider becoming a Patreon supporter or I will die or end up on the streets or something bad like that. Definitely check out the Patreon link down below. All supporters get some juicy perks including Discord server access. If there's anything you want to see added as a perk, definitely let me know down below. Guaranteed question 2 for Patreon supporters, so check out the link down below. Alright, so first Patreon question up from T. Smith. Whose side is Oyakopon on? Always seems like he's on Paradise side, but is he just following Yelena's orders? Ah, Oyakopon. So I think that's just something that I've been bringing up in the past few videos. Ever since this guy introduced, he seemed very close to Yelena. Then suddenly when Yelena turned on Paradise Island? Or was it the other way around? Either way, Oyakopon supposedly said that he didn't know Yelena's true intentions. Then even gave that backstory for Yelena, supposedly being super anti-Marley, then switching sides, going into this more passive position. So really just based on the history we do know of both of these characters, I'm really not buying what Oyakopon is selling. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is just playing the long con, waiting it out. In other words, he's just pretending to be captured himself, and potentially gather information for Yelena, or for the other Eren cultist guys. Next question up from Kashmir Fox. Are we going to see a Titan shifter transformation in chapter 116? For this, I'm assuming you're really referring to Eren's Tri-Titan. And yes, I definitely hope we do, but it's actually been a few chapters. Or I guess we did have the Beast Titan transformation during the Levi fight, if you could actually call that a fight. More like a Levi beatdown. So in the latest chapter, you just have the super double agent Pieck that ambushed Eren. If anything, this would be the perfect time to showcase a new Eren Titan. So whatever comes out of that discussion, if Pieck doesn't turn to Eren's side, she's gonna have to turn into a Titan shifter to fricking escape. The question then becomes, is she gonna fight Eren potentially, or just run away? Because if she does engage Eren, Eren's gonna have to transform. So really just for that reason alone, I hope she does attack Eren. Come on, I wanna see your new attack WarHammer Founding Titan. I got a feeling there's not gonna be any change at all to how he looks visually. Next question up from Infamous Cheat. What are the odds of Pieck shooting Eren and him doing something similar to what Reiner did back in the Return of Shiga Shina arc? Actually, it's pretty interesting that you do bring this up. At this point in the Attack on Titan story, we've actually seen Titan shifters survive some crazy abuse on their Titan bodies. We do have that infamous example of Reiner back in the day. And then fairly recently you had Zeke and Yeager surviving all of those thunder spears super close up. The thing about your question is that for this to actually happen, Pieck would have to shoot Eren presumably either in the heart or brain, which is actually something I don't really see happening. I do think Pieck may shoot Eren, maybe in the foot, in the arm, in some other non-vital spot, really just to get her point across. But I'm thinking she's not going to go in for the kill shot, at least not with the bullet. Next question up from Winter. Do you think we will see Levi has some type of vision like Zeke did in the past? So for this question, I'm assuming you're asking this regarding Levi, since this guy is part Ackerman, which do have some connection to the Titans. In other words, them being some enhanced Titan-like human soldiers. The question then becomes, does Isayama also want to give the Ackerman these type of Titan-like visions for the Ackerman that presumably should be from past Ackerman soldiers? For this, for now, I'm gonna say no. I'm really not sure how much more Isayama wants to expand on the Ackerman history. This could be a way of doing it, but I'm assuming he's gonna do it in different ways. Potentially not even give the full answer by the end of the Attack on Titan series. For the Ackerman specifically, right now it does seem like they do function like Titans, and that all of them are connected in some way. Although right now what I'm picturing is that all Ackermen are connected, but only to the Ackermen themselves. In other words, they have this type of branching thing like a tree, except that is completely separated from the actual Titan shifters and the other Eldians. Next question up from Spark the Cake. Do you think Mikasa, Armin, Konya, and Jean will escape? Something seems off with that wall that Jean was looking at. So as you've known, the Survey Corps has been deep in jail for a few chapters now. The thing about this is that they do have Armin with them. In other words, right now they should be held somewhere deep underground, just to avoid any unnecessary Titan transformation. So while there is a chance these guys could probably escape, whatever is behind the wall that the stallion is looking at most likely is just a bunch of wall or more stone, since they should be underground. So I'm still gonna go with my previous idea that I mentioned, that at some point the Yeager brothers are gonna meet, and Eren by himself is gonna bring out the Survey Corps so they could watch his little demonstration. But who knows, maybe the other warriors like Reiner and the Jaws Titan will help these guys escape. Maybe they're that desperate. Next question up from Valkrist. Do you think Reiner will show up this chapter? So the next chapter should have a very huge highlight on Pieck. At that point, I'm pretty sure she's going to have a reference to what the other warriors are doing. At the very least, show them in one panel or two. It'll be really interesting if Pieck somehow calls Reiner, and then Reiner shows up also in disguise as one of the guard soldiers. Who knows, potentially you're going to have all the Titans in one room. That'll be Pieck, the Jaws Titan, Armor Titan versus Eren in some small location. Last question up from Distract Enemies. Is Hange gonna make some body parts for Levi? We could call him the Full Metal Titan. Wouldn't that be the Full Metal Ackerman though? If there weren't any other issues, Hange would normally be able to make some extra body part or some metal attachment for Levi. Unfortunately, she's not really in the position to do so right now. So unless there's some time skip, maybe 2 weeks or a month, which would give Levi some time to recover fully or mostly, and Hange some time to actually build the fricking arm or metal attachment, there may just not be any time. Who knows, potentially Levi may just duct tape this vibranium blade onto his hand and use that. Next up, getting into the Twitter questions. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and tweet me your question for a chance for me to answer your question. To get a guaranteed question in, please do become a Patreon supporter. Link down below. First Twitter question up from Johnny Takeover. I've seen a theory that Armin will be the one to get Annie out of the crystal because he has a Colossal Titan and burst memories. Maybe he'll be able to communicate with her or give her some type of signal if he were to touch it. Do you think this is possible? So for this, I'm pretty sure I've also brought this up, and it's more like an idea or prediction or hope rather than a theory. Also, for the other thing you mentioned, haven't we already seen Armin touch the crystal? So honestly, at this point, I think Armin has had plenty of time to actually execute this plan, if you could call it that. I'm still gonna go with my other idea that most likely, if Annie does get out of the crystal, it'll have some involvement from Hitch. As for what will actually cause Annie to awaken, I'm gonna bet on either Eren or the Jaws Titan. Next question up from George the Destro 1. Do you think that Zeke's euthanasia plan will come up between Eren and Pieck? For this, it really depends on whether Eren wants to actually be truthful with Pieck, and also how long their conversation will be. Right before Pieck showed up, it looked like Eren was going to drop some truthful information to Gabby. So it really comes down to whether Eren wants to convince Pieck over to his side. Eren could go ahead and tell her what Zeke's true plan is, then inform Pieck of some type of version of what his plan is actually going to be. In other words, something that totally differs from what Zeke has been planning. Next question up from Vibe Hub. Do you think the warriors might be planning to team up with the scouts who are in jail to prevent the rumbling? And maybe Pieck is just a distraction for Eren so they could easily complete their plan. And if they do so, then they could find Annie too. So for this question, you're actually assuming that the warriors' plan is to rescue the scouts, which I'm pretty sure the scouts and the warriors teaming up in some fashion is a high possibility. Although Pieck doing this just so the warriors could rescue the scouts? For this, does Pieck or the warriors even know about the scout situation? I mean, Pieck was playing Sky and she's now this undercover soldier, so perhaps. The thing about this is I'm not sure why the warriors would bother wasting any time on the scouts if they could just take out Eren right here. For Pieck, I mean, forget about trying to talk to Eren. After she shanked the other guard, she should have instantly shot Eren in the fricking head. Next question up from Anki. Do you think the Ackerman path is connected to the Founding Titan path? So this is actually something I brought up a little bit earlier, specifically about the Ackerman path. Right now I'm thinking that that's separated from the Founding Titan path. In other words, when the Ackerman were created, that really just created their own line. Next question up from Honey Lemon. Why do you think Gabby keeps freezing in front of Eren? I heard a theory that she might be an Ackerman and therefore freezes in front of the Founding Titan, since they were originally programmed to obey the king, and she doesn't have a host and it's working on her. So for this, if this is actually a theory, I really don't buy this at all one bit. For one, I really don't think Isayama is going to randomly make someone an Ackerman, a secret Ackerman. And then there's the other thing. Isn't Gabby related to fricking Reiner? I'm pretty sure that Reiner isn't any Ackerman at all. But to answer the first thing, why does Gabby keep on freezing up? I mean, she's like a little 12-year-old in front of potentially the biggest threat in human existence, at least right now. Her reaction is completely normal. Keep in mind that Gabby did witness the attack on Marley, which had Eren as the main attacker. So why does Gabby keep on freezing up in front of Eren? She's just freaking scared out of her ass. Next question up from Uchiha. Do you think this will be the last arc or Attack on Titan will be continuing? If continued, how would you like the story to proceed? So for this, I don't think this is the last arc. They officially announced that this is the final arc of Attack on Titan. The only question that remains is how exactly long will this arc be? Right now it's really looking like chapter 130 is a good stopping point. In other words, counting this coming up chapter, that's 15 chapters left. So could Isayama potentially extend that? I mean, Isayama in the past has mentioned that some events in the story he thought would take a chapter or two, he actually extended that. I'm pretty sure he was referring to the stuff back at Marley. So at the end of the day, it really just comes down to how long Isayama wants to make this. Will he continue to take his time? Or does he just want to be done with it? Which at this point, I don't blame him. Next question up from K. Attack on Titan is in its last arc, so do you think when it ends all questions we have about Attack on Titan world would have been answered? So for this, I think it's actually something I've indirectly answered in the past. By the time the Attack on Titan story is over, I think we're going to get a lot of answers to some of the questions we've been having. At the same time, I don't think Isayama is going to completely 100% answer everything. In other words, some things will be either left vague, and really just left for the fans to interpret. Who knows, the stuff about the Ackerman may be one of those things. Or some other stuff like the Titan memory stuff. Next question up from Ellis Brooks. Do you believe in the Titan ability to influence the past? Eren Kruger linked with Mikasa and Armin? If so, do you reckon it could play a huge part in the next chapter? Say if Eren decides to change his agreement with Zeke. So whether Titans have the power to influence the past, I think in some forms this has been already confirmed within the Attack on Titan story. The question that remains is to what extent? I mean, can Eren now as the founding Titan just send his memories to the past, potentially contacting his younger self or even the original Ymir? I gotta believe there's gonna be some restrictions to that. Otherwise, it really just becomes a Steingate situation. Oh, this horrible situation happened? Why not just send your memories to the past and reset everything and try again? Who knows, potentially when the Yeager brothers do meet, instead of Eren's trying to start the rumbling, Eren is instead gonna send his memories to the past. That would be a nice surprise. Next question up from Mies Fangirl. Now this might be kind of far-fetched, but what if Pieck wants to know where Annie is? This could be how Annie comes back into the story. Alright, so an Annie question. So for this, you already know my stance that I do believe somehow Hitch is going to play a huge part in this. Specifically about Pieck and the Warriors wanting to know where Annie is. So far, you really haven't seen Pieck have any strong connection with Annie. And all of this really goes back to some of the stuff I mentioned earlier, which is why would the Warriors want to potentially get this +1 Titan that may not even be bad already? Their main priority should be to take out Eren, not to try to find Annie. That could come after the big threat is resolved. But actually, depending on how long their conversation is, I wouldn't be surprised if Pieck actually did ask somewhere in there the location of Annie. Not as a main topic, but just a throwaway question. Next question up from Kevin. Do you think that one Eren and Zeke meeting we saw in the previous chapter was it? I mean, Eren said he and Zeke talked, and that Zeke knew so much. And after his talk, he knew Armin was seeing Annie and his stuff on Mikasa. That one meeting couldn't have been it, right? So for this, I do believe there should have been more. I mean, Eren was stationed at Marley for what, a few months? During that time, Zeke could have visited the hospital multiple times. Or who knows, just keep on sending letters back and forth. The other thing you should consider about Eren is also the possibility that this guy is just either lying, or he somehow got access to the previous Titan memories, and all of the stuff he mentioned about Zeke was actually not stuff he found out from him, but from the past Titan memories. Next question up from JJ's. With all the changes and differences between the anime and manga, is it possible to have something like a ship become true in one but not the other? Like Eren and Mikasa not having one moment like a kiss or whatever in the manga, but one gets added somewhere in the anime. So for this, I don't think something that drastic would actually happen for the anime version. I mean, right now we do know that Isayama is working very closely with the Attack on Titan studio in the production of the Attack on Titan anime. So if you think about it, if something drastic like that were to happen, it would have to get the okay from Isayama, which I'm really not sure he'd want that drastic of a difference for the anime version. Honestly, the biggest change I could see for the anime version would be maybe Eren hugging Mikasa or them holding hands or something small like that. Of course, this is assuming something way later, like towards the end of the Attack on Titan anime, since you know what recently Eren did to Mikasa. On the flip side, this question actually made me think back to the ending of the Attack on Titan Season 2. If you actually compare it to the manga to the anime version. In the anime version, they made it pretty clear that Mikasa was going in for the kiss in their final death situation. So who knows, maybe you could have something like that. Next question up from Creation. Who is most likely to get killed off next? Hanji for the drastic scene of heartbreak. Levi due to injuries. Flogged by Eren for betraying him. We know he's gonna do it. Coney blinded by rage of losing Sasha. So for this, let me actually first bring up Levi. If in the next chapter we don't get some drastic blood loss, death for Levi, I don't think he's gonna get killed off until maybe the end of the season. For Hange, I'm actually now thinking she's gonna make it till the very end. I mean, Hanji's already lost an eye, she's losing people left and right, and potentially they do still need this commander figure at the very end. That really only leaves Flock and Coney, and to be honest, it really seems like 50-50 on who dies next, but I think the possibility is pretty high on both of these two. Next question out from Bass here. Could Pixies be our Marleyan? Cause when Zeke shrieked everyone felt it except for him. For Pixies, I thought specifically for him he was one of the main ones that felt it. I mean, he would be one of the main candidates to fricking drink the wine. I don't know, am I wrong on this or am I recalling it incorrectly? Next question up from Pikachu Polka. Do you think Isayama might bring back Levi as a Titan shifter, or will he just live him out of the finale? So as much as I do want an Ackerman to be injected with some Titan juices, I don't see Levi becoming a Titan shifter. Maybe potentially a Mountain's Titan. As to whether he's going to be left out of the finale, I mean, so far Isayama didn't have the Titan-sized balls to kill Levi off. So I'm thinking this guy's going to make a return for the finale, potentially due to his injuries and be taken out. Next question up from Avgo. Now that we have more context, who do you think is the real father to Historia's baby? Probably Eren. Yeah, so really based on what we know so far, it most likely is Eren. I know they mentioned the thing about that farmer guy potentially being the father, but that was really from the higher up military guys while drunk. So yeah, I'll put the chances of Eren being the father at past 50%. Next question up from a random Annie fan. What is the possibility that Annie will get eaten even before she meets her father and reconcile if he is alive? So we actually have seen that Annie's father was alive. I'm pretty sure that he didn't die in the attack on Marley, otherwise Isayama would have emphasized that. But yeah, the whole concept of Annie just dying before she even meets her father? This is Attack on Titan and sounds like a very Isayama thing to do. So unless Annie actually survives this whole thing until the very end, or unless her father magically shows up on the island, I don't see these two meeting up. Final question up from Simon. About Ymir gathering all 9 Titans in the chapter 115 discussion got me thinking. If you watch Naruto Shippuden, you might remember Kaguya. Could we see Ymir appear like Kaguya did and try to gather all 9 Titans? So yes, I have seen people bring up this Naruto situation, that once all the 9 Titans are appearing, the original Ymir could resurface in some way. I think I've even talked about this in past theory videos. The thing about this is that since Naruto has done that, and especially since Naruto has done it, I really hope Isayama has noted that and does not do anything like that. I mean, right now we're getting all the comparisons to Code Geass and some Fullmetal Alchemist comparisons. Evangelion too. I really don't think we need Attack on Titan to be compared to another anime ending. So no, hopefully that does not happen. Anyway, that'll wrap everything up. If you do enjoy this video, do give a close thumbs up and post down below if you did make it to the very end. Also, do consider becoming a Patreon supporter. I'm now doing this full time, so I do need more support from you guys. Go ahead and post any predictions or hopes you have for the next Attack on Titan chapter, and I'll see you guys later.